Hey, how's everyone out doing out there? It's been a long time.
It has been several months since we've done.
7 months.
Well, I didn't want to say exactly how long.
If it was 8 months, it'd be worse, right?
Exactly.
I guess you want to make your spot checks, make sure we're up and live everywhere.
Yep, that's what I'm going through right now, checking to make sure we're flying 5x5 on all the channels and such. And it looks like we are. We're good on Twitch, and we are good on Facebook, and we are good on YouTube.
All right. Let me see. Do we have comments already?
Richard Keir. Hello all. About time.
Yeah. Well, you know what? We don't. Well, first of all, Devin and I are rebels. We don't like schedule. But it's really that if we don't have much to say, and let's face it, with the pandemic, I think the last one we did was December of last year, basically. I'm just typing in some stuff they have ready for the show. Okay. All right. Oh, Devin's gone. We lost.
Oh, just movement in the house, and don't need to see my roommates walking around in their PJs.
Let's take a vote, people. What do you say, PJ?
Nope.
All right. Okay, so let me see here now. I guess what we'll start with, purpose of today's show is we're going to update you on a lot of things. We're going to answer your questions. We have some better definitive things to tell you where we stand with different projects, new projects that are coming. Charles said he wants PJs. That's two now, buddy.
Nope, not going to happen. Just not going to happen.
All right. Well, and we're going to update you on basically on the stuff we're doing. Tell you what we're going to be coming up for. This is the first show of season 3. And, you know, we're going to have quite a few more shows, a lot more not back to back, but within a week or so of each other with different developers and what's going on where. So let me just see where we're at here. Hold on.
It's been a while since we've done this, so we're a little rusty.
Yeah, well, you know what it is? I have a whole new setup now. So I've got a big monitor here, another monitor over here, 2 more monitors over here, and I'm trying to, and I'm not counting the Windows machine that you can kind of see behind me. So, okay, someone wants to know, we're going to do the same time each show. We try not to. We try to jump around. We pick today's timing so that the people in North America can get on, the people in Europe can get on at the same time since it's been so long. Heck, we even let the Canadians in there. Ask Dan. So, okay. As some of you may know, we went to a convention called Protocon, okay? And it was not an open convention, which means it was just like, you know, WBC or something like that. There was a limited amount of people, and Steve, who ran the convention, was nice enough to let the Lock and Load team guys come down and play. We haven't, as a team, we hadn't been together for almost 2 years, which is, you know, excessively long. And hey, Nino, how you doing, buddy? We miss you guys too. And so anyway, that's, you know, so we went down there. We were able to really reignite our excitement about some of the projects we were doing and stuff like that, because we got to play them. I mean, that's together, you know. So we hope all of you guys are doing well. The ones got the vid, as they call it out here in Colorado, and glad to see you all back again. So we'll start with, what do you guys want to ask first about? Do you want us to tell you where we're at with certain projects? Oh, okay. SW says, I'll start. Wasn't Blood and Fury and Never Give Up supposed to be a combined Kickstarter? It was a discussion. We thought about it. We felt it would be too much money, and so we decided to separate them. Plus, we felt that one of the games needed a little bit more time play testing because we have a limited team. Okay, so I guess we'll start off with again, great con with Steve and his people, Protocon. We highly recommend it if you guys are in the Dallas Fort Worth area in Texas. Okay, we got to play quite a few games down there, non-lock and load games as well. Had some great Chinese food. Was teasing my son immensely, who goes everywhere with us. And let me just see if I can get this to add to the stream. Oh, look at that. It actually did work.
There was a lot of barbecue places down in Texas. I mean, a lot of barbecue places.
Well, the one place, Darren was the only guy that wasn't able to come. And the only place I didn't get to was Darren's barbecue shop. But I think I'll have more fun having it with Darren, actually. Okay. This is, I guess, the last picture we took of Sean, the designer of many of our products, the Nations at War revisions, the Tank on Tank add-ons, and Point Blank, to name a few. May look a little familiar in the middle. Okay, that's Devin on the right or left, depending upon how it shows up on the screen for you guys. Okay, and that's at the airport. And I just want to state this because this never happens to me. I had the easiest flight home. I got on the plane, I had to wait a whole extra 10 minutes. Devin, I don't know how many hours he must have waited. What was it, 6 hours?
Well, yeah. That photo was taken about noon, and my flight was my flight wasn't until like 6:30, and it got delayed until 7:30. So yeah, I was in the airport for a few hours.
Yeah, and Sean, who was also supposed to get on the plane about an hour before me, he left like an hour or two after me. And so I lived the closest. I had to go to Springs, which was barely a 2-hour flight. I had good tailwinds. I got there in an hour and 20 minutes. So we're doing well. Okay. Also, Keith was there, World at War designer, and so was Jeff. Jeff, also one of the World at War designers. They were all there having a good time.
Steve was there too. Don't forget.
Okay, so they want to know. Let me see. What are they asking most about? I guess we'll go with World at War 85. Actually, you know what we'll start with? We're going to start with Point Blank, and the reason is Point Blank, from my point of view, is physically done. Okay, there's nothing else we have to do on Point Blank except wait for Kickstarters. They had one more thing they wanted us to do, and it is now. We're just waiting for them to say yes, we're good to go.
So yeah, Point Blank is on Kickstarter. We're just waiting for Kickstarter's approval. So it's not us anymore. So the delay is all on Kickstarter's side.
It's always us. Okay, but yeah. So basically, Kickstarter. Next Kickstarter, which I'm going to say should be any day now. It's only going to run for about 22, 25 days. It's not going to go to full 30 days because I don't think it's really necessary. We've been trying to get basically a 3-week period in there where we hit Thursday, Friday for people's paychecks. Okay, so people had complained that, hey, I can't get in there fast enough because I only get paid once a month or I get paid every 2 weeks. So this is a way for us to do that. And we're going to follow it by Lock and Load Tactical, Heroes of the Bitter Harvest. Someone's asking. Yes, that was called Heroes Road to Stalingrad. Some people complained that there was a German on the cover. We won't get into all that crap, which we find completely pointless. But I had made a statement that I found was incorrect. Kickstarter has the ability, or the staff does, to reject any project that the staff, not the company, the employees don't like. Okay, so we decided to change the name for that. That was one of the reasons. The other reason was a lot of you guys were confused because it was Heroes Road to Stalingrad. You all expecting Stalingrad, so we decided to change the name. And the mistake I made was we had a misrepresentation of the uniform, and our artist was gracious enough to correct it for us. So we decided to update that. Okay.
Oh, we may have lost David. So let's see if he pops back in here real quick. But yeah, one of the other reasons we wanted to change the title from Heroes Road to Stalingrad to Heroes of the Bitter Harvest is that it wasn't Heroes Road to Stalingrad wasn't exactly grammatically correct, and a lot of people were getting it confused with the old Matrix game of Heroes of Stalingrad. Plus, we're going to hopefully be having a full-on Stalingrad scenario or module pack in the future, and we didn't want to confuse it. And there's David calling, so hang on real quick. Make sure we turn the mic on. David's got thunderstorms in his area, and that may be interfering with his ability to transmit to the internet. But that's fine. I can still run things. He'll be back as soon as he can, if he comes back. But anyways, the reason why we changed Heroes Road to Stalingrad to Heroes of the Bitter Harvest is, yeah, the biggest reason is we got a lot of people that were being confused that this was going to be the Stalingrad module. It's not the Stalingrad module. It's Taste Blue. It's the summer 1942 summer offensive that led to Stalingrad, and there is one scenario that actually does take place in Stalingrad, but all this other scenarios don't. So we decided, all right, let's go ahead and change the title anyways. So that's why we have the name change to Heroes of the Bitter Harvest. And let's go ahead. I know we've got some questions. Let's look at some questions. Oh, geez, bunch of questions. I can't go over all these. It's just too many of them. You're actually giving us questions for a change. Let's see who's there. VT View from the Turrets here. Mo's Game Table. Richard Kerr. El Duce, the Duke of Our Hearts, is here. Rastaman 2009. Mo's Game Table. They already said that. SW Michael. Yeah, I mess his name up every time. Michael. Glad to see you. I'm not going to try to butcher your name. So okay, let's go over this. WoW Kickstarter launching in a few. Then the Blood and Fury is going to be third in line. Point Blank, as we said, is going to be released. Hopefully this week, maybe next. I mean, we've given everything over to Kickstarter. It's all just awaiting Kickstarter's approval right now. I think there's one more thing we have to add, but that's minor. Then after that, it is going to be Heroes of the Bitter Harvest, and that will probably be next month. We don't want to have multiple Kickstarters running at the same time, so we're looking to do almost near back to back. So as soon as the Point Blank is done, then Heroes of the Bitter Harvest. Then after that will be Blood and Fury World of War 85. So hopefully in 2 months that will be up to the Kickstarter. I can't say when we shall hold the third volume of World of War is going to be kickstarted, because like I said, we still got some play testing. There's still a few things that we need to do with that. So yeah, it's coming very, very soon. Mo's saying Protocon was fun, and it was not an expanse related convention. I'm not sure what that means, but yes, it was very fun. I mean, there were like 40 of us there, and 6 of us were from the company. No, Il Duce, you better have news on Point Blank. I just gave you the news. It's coming to Kickstarter. Let's see. Il Duce is trying to be a comedian, which he usually is. Let's see. Second Fleet North Atlantic. Yes, we will be getting into that. Steve has done an excellent job so far on designing. We're calling the working title so far is Storming the Atlantic. We got to sit down and do some play testing with it during the con. And I think it's fabulous and fantastic. I think it's a good successor to the Fleet series. People really love the Fleet series. In a lot of respects, it's easier than Fleet series. And there are going to be some mechanics that people are going to have. It's going to take a little bit to wrap your head around it because it is kind of radically different. There is no damage sides on the ships and the aircraft and the submarines. You're either in anti-surface mode or anti-sub mode. And combat is real brutal and bloody. You get hit, and your ship, if you fail to make the save, because it works on the combat system like in World War 85, so many dice for the target number, so many dice in defense with the target number, uses a D10, not a D6, so you got a wider range this time. But yeah, if one hit gets through on a ship, the ship is no longer combat effective. Now, we're not saying that the ship is actually sunk. We're just saying that the ship is no longer combat effective. And so it's not really, you're not really losing ships, but you are losing ships because, you know, no scenario is going to go more than, you know, 2-3 days at the most. So yeah, it's really bloody. Another thing, well, we'll get into that later. I don't want to get too much into it. Going on with the World of War, Richard Kerr asking about the World of War 85 air combat game. That's something Keith is working on, and we're tentatively titling that "Storming the Skies." It is a squadron based. Depending on the scenario, each side has a certain number of aircraft squadrons, so you're operating on the squadron level. So it's not, you know, jet to jet type warfare. And you're putting and they're on the map, and we'll show if and when David gets back, we'll show off some photos of it. And each hex on the map basically represents 5 nautical miles, and there's different elevation bands. Depending on the scenario, you've got ground assets on the ground that yours that you need to protect, and ground assets that the enemy has. And so basically you need to take what squadrons you have available, put your strike packages together, and attack the enemy targets while putting defensive packages together to defend your own installation. So there's going to be a back and forth there. It's like, well, do I put my my electronic warfare with the strike aircraft, or do I put my electronic warfare squadron with the defense to try to defend my position? So there's a lot of really cool options there. We do have some photos of that, and we'll show that. Okay, Casey Werber, what about Enemy at the Gates mentioned in the Lock and Load Digital stream forum a couple days ago? Okay, so we're having a little bit of a delay getting Heroes to the Motherland out. Heroes to the Motherland basically has 27 maps in it. When you put all the changes, it's like, and some of the changes are minor. It's like, ignore the river on this map. Well, on the tabletop version, you can do that real easy. Digital version, you actually have to come up a completely new map. We can't just say in the digital version, ignore the river here. You just can't do it. So they're basically 26 maps, and putting those maps together for digital takes Tom a long time to do. So basically what we're going to do is we're kind of going a little bit retro. We've got 4 maps that people may recognize from a very popular other tactical system that's been around since the 70s. And we've got Mark making up the maps now, and he's almost done with those. But basically it's going to be retro style. You're going to see a lot of, you know, the original tactical squad level game scenarios represented now in Lock and Load Tactical. And why we're doing this is because it's easier for us to get 4 maps in, and then we can give you all the Heroes of the Motherland counters, the OOB, so you can start using them in the battle generator and the scenario editor without waiting for the months that it may take for us to get all the maps done for Heroes of the Motherland. Because like I said, there's like 26, 28 maps for Heroes of the Motherland. So we're going to give you 4 maps and the entire Heroes of the Motherland OOB early, which is Enemy at the Gates, so you can start playing with the Eastern Front stuff. The Expanse series, most saying the Expanse TV series. Yes, Proto-Molecule. Yep. Yes, I've watched it. I just didn't know that's what you were talking about. Yeah, Mo. The fleet game is going to shock people because people die fast and you run out of ammo just like real ships do in a big engagement. Yeah, that is very true. Who else? What else have we got? Casey Webster. No, not Red Barricades. We're not doing Red Barricades. There will be something similar to Red Barricades when we do the full-on Stalingrad module, but that's not showing up yet. Joe Fernandez, good to see you too, sir. Nuno Castillo. Finally managed to find a store in the European Union with the updated editions of Stalin's Triumph and upgrade kit for White Star. Very cool. Yes, I always have a serious look on my face, especially when I'm confused, and that happens quite often.
Okay, Devin's coup attempt is over.
El Jefe has returned.
Yes, no, a thunderstorm came by. I went to say something, I heard crash, and then I was gone. So luckily I have multiple internet sources here. I have 3 different services that go into the house here. So I just had to take a wire, flip it around, and then reboot. So what did I miss?
I'm just going over a lot of the questions, answering a lot of stuff, and View from the Turret just popped in another question. Space Infantry module for Lock and Load Digital. Yeah, it's coming. That's what we can say. That the Space Infantry Tactical is coming. Tentative title is Above and Beyond. Lock and Load Tactical Above and Beyond. Am I correct on that?
Yes.
Okay. Neil just popped in. Welcome, sir.
And
so, anyways, I will hand it back off to El Jefe.
Okay. Well, what were you talking about, so I can just follow suit?
I was going over Heroes of the Bitter Harvest, Storming the Atlantic, Storming the Skies, and just basically in answering questions for people.
Okay. So we left off with Sean.
Sean's point blank.
So what I'm going to do is there's a picture of the final copy of Sean's game. And that's Sean right there. And I don't know if I can zoom in. I kind of like this method better than I had before. You can see the map, the player rate cards, everything. The thing about the game is you don't need the map to play. Okay, we provided the map because I find it's a little bit needed to keep your structure together. That's when you're playing. One of the things that Sean and I think we're going to do is, you can see the map is 5 across and I believe 5 down, Devin, and then there's the row in the middle.
There's 5 across and 5 down on each side, plus the no man's land in the center. So so technically it's 5 across and 11 deep. Okay,
so we're going to take the back side of the map and make it where you have slightly bigger boxes, but we're going to make it 3 by basically 11, I guess, deep. Okay, so because a lot of scenarios don't need the 5, it makes the thumbprint easier to play. We're not 100% promising we're going to end up, but I know Sean's nagging me, so I think I'm just going to give in. But honestly, you don't need a table well, you need a table. You don't need a map at all. But we find this is a lot more easier to play on and see what's going on there. Let me see what else I got for Sean's game.
So basically, anybody who's ever played up front, and honestly, Point Blank is basically if up front and Lock and Load Tactical had a love child, it's basically what Point Blank is. We just found it.
I just want to change that a little bit. It's not really up front. It was inspired by up front, and the reason is up front's a man-to-man game, and this is squad. But the other difference too is I played up front. Actually, I played up front with Ralph Ferrari. We both had never played the game before, and there's a lot, like there's line of sight in this game. There's not really line of sight in up front. The big thing about a card game that I normally do not like, and I personally think it's one of Sean's best features in the game, is you don't need a card to do something. If you don't have the right card you want, there's a good chance you can do the card, but it costs you a little bit more of a penalty than if you had the right card. So you're never going to be stuck there holding your card and saying, pass, because you don't have anything to do. I mean, actually, I don't think I've seen anyone pass because of a card. I'm sure it's got to happen, just the odds. But I'm sorry, go on, Dad. I just wanted to point that out because Sean always corrects me when I say that.
But yeah, I mean, it basically uses in upfront, you kind of have to imagine the grid sector out there, A, B, C, D, what have you. For this, we've just printed it out. You can play it without the map. Again, just kind of setting in your mind A, B, C, D sectors, or actually 1, 2, 3, 4. A, B, C, D is the columns. But yeah, it's a really cool system. And once you get the grasp the basics of it, it flows really quick. And like I said, if you know how to play Lock and Load Tactical, you're going to know how to play the the dice, or the you're going to be able to slip right into the combat of this. Yeah, Rostam. I did not promise everything would come out next week. I said one thing might be come out next.
It doesn't matter. The crew failed, so all promises are off. Okay, here's another picture from the con. Okay, just a little slightly different angle. There are basically standard player cards. There are mini cards, which are kind of leaders and support weapons, and then there is, I think they're all standard cards at this point, right?
Yeah, they're either the standard cards or they're the mini cards.
Yeah, we did have tarot cards at one point, but it didn't really help. We didn't need as much room as I had thought, and that was really more me. So you can easily read these cards and the numbers on this with no problem. Okay. And guys, I'm looking at your comments. I'm trying to look at 3 different screens here. So if I miss something, just, you know, poke at it a little bit. Okay. Next picture for point blank, guys. There's a little bit more close up of the cards. And I'm going to try zooming even a little bit more for you. If I can do that. Oh, look, I can. Okay. It's a little fuzzy. Sorry about that. Okay. You got a squad here, a bazooka, a tank, which has 2 fatigue. As you do things, you get fatigue. We do plan to have Sean on the show, especially after the Kickstarter goes live, to talk about some features and ask questions. This is the terrain. The terrain can be changed by either your opponent, believe it or not, or you, because you're not in one teeny-weeny little hex in a big area. So as you move around that area in your turn, whether you're physically moving or not, okay, it will it can be changed on you, and we found that was really nice, so you didn't have to track the terrain going back and forth. Okay, here's the next picture for you, and this is just I guess another angle of, I guess it's the same picture. I just loaded it twice. Yes, how you like that? Okay, and there's last one, and this is Sean wondering why he loses at his game every time he plays. And but you can see that the cards, the counters, it's really not that big of a thing. People ask what type of paper this is. The map is not paper. We have a company that prints us wide. What would you call it? It's not a canvas, right?
It's a banner material. It's what they use for banners.
It's actually it's not. That's vinyl. This isn't vinyl. The banner material is much coarser. We actually made the original World at War 5 maps we brought to WBC to play. That's what's vinyl. This is more of a texture to it. And when you see some of the reason we like it is because you can spill things on it. Not that that's ever happened in the office, but if we did, you can just wipe it off. It doesn't damage it. You can bend this. You can actually even fold it up and put it in the box and just lay it out and give it about 10 minutes, and it's, back to normal.
Yeah, I had 3 of the maps that we had printed out like this, stuffed in my luggage on the way home. And when I got it, I just pulled them right out, laid them out, and within a couple minutes, they were perfectly flat.
It's okay. It's not neoprene. That's more of a mouse pad type of thing. This is like if you had parchment paper and you printed on it, it would look like a period style painting. Okay. That's the best I can give you. I'm sure he'll.
We do have a couple close-up shots of the type of material in the photo, so I'm sure we'll get to it, so people will be able to see it close up, what it looks like, what the texture looks like.
Okay, is that for the beach invasion scenarios? And yes, and the grooves on the paper is very nice. It keeps everything from getting stuck to the other material. Okay, so you guys got any other questions about Point Blank? Like I said, the Kickstarter should be this week coming, as long as Kickstarter does their Kickstarter part. Okay, it should be followed by Heroes of the Bitter Hardest on Kickstarter. How long in between? I would like to tell you days, okay, because we're going to do one, wait a couple of days, and start the next one. And so that would go another, let's just say 3 weeks. Okay. And then after that one will be World at War 85, Blood and Fury. Okay. All 3 of those games are done. Now, when I say done, I do know that Jeff is working on the monster scenarios because it takes a lot longer to play test. But I'll get to that when we get into the World at War. Let me just go back and make sure I didn't miss anyone's.
No, I think those were all the photos we had for Sean's Point Blank.
Yeah, I'm just making sure I wasn't missing anything else here. Shout out to Dan. How you doing? And Mo. Yeah, Mo had a very dangerous convention trip because it was his wife's birthday and his wedding anniversary. We weren't sure if he was actually going to make it.
Alive, anyway.
Alive, yeah. Okay.
Well, hey, if U-Boat got nominated for a dozen different categories, why couldn't Point Blank?
I want best app, buddy. Best app. Okay, so I'm going to move us over then to Lock and Load Tactical. Okay, which Devin should know a little bit about it.
I know a guy, yeah.
Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do, so I can get everyone bitching all at once at me. Okay. Helps if you hit the button, Dave. There we go. Okay. I'm going to try to blow this up so you can see it some more. Okay. The blue line is technically the cut line, guys. Okay. It's not 100% accurate. It's just what we use to measure things with when we're doing something. We're going to put, I know the colors go outside of the blue or over the blue. So the part that's to the left or right of the blue, depending upon how you're looking at the counter, isn't really going to be there when you cut the counter. So the counter looks a lot bigger than it really is. We put the colors on there to show range, penetration, and kill, correct?
Range to hit and penetration.
Range to hit penetration. No.
Yes, range.
Okay, you're right. Okay. I just work here, buddy. Okay. And okay. So basically, we're going to add these, and we're not being updating the rule books. We'll argue about that later. But what this is a lot of people just forget the number. They're going top to bottom on the column, or they go left to right thinking it's 5, 12, 24, and for the 3, and it's not. So this is just a way to make it a little easier. It'll be mentioned into the module rules, if I'm not mistaken, Devin.
They are in the module rules, yes.
So again, so it's not technically a change to the rules. So before I get hate mail, it's
a graphical enhancement to make quality of life a little bit easier. Because there are times I will flip to the back of the counter and my brain will just kind of turn off for a little bit, and I'll look at the grid and it's like, which way am I supposed to look? So this is just to help to remind you.
Okay. So now based on that, what we're going to show you is images of the maps are the right maps, the play rates are the right play rates, the counters are not the right counters, meaning that we didn't laser cut them, we didn't anything. They're a little bit bigger. You're going to see the cut lines on them because of playtest counters. So there's not how the counters will look outside of the artwork. Okay, now look at that, huh? Slight resemblance, right?
I don't know who that guy is.
Let's do that now. Let's see if we get interesting comments. Oh, that's someone who likes what we do with the counters. There you go.
Yep. See, it's exactly why we put it on there, just to make it a little bit easier for you to remember which is the range band, which is the to hit band, and which one's the armor piercing band. Now I realize there are going to be people out there going, "Well, I can remember." Well, no problem. Well, congratulations.
Now, what do you get?
Yeah, exactly. Especially with our poor eyesight, because that has a bearing as well.
Oh, one of the things people are we going to update the rule book? Listen, we're not going to be making a new 5.2, 5.3, whatever number will come after that rule book. What we'll do is if we find a typo or there's a wrong rule reference or we miss putting something on the typo, we're going to update it. Okay, does not make your rule book outdated. Okay, just we update it because trying to remember all this stuff at the end whenever it would get updated, which would probably be a couple of years from now, easily, guys. Okay, so no more rule book updates.
Yeah, we're not planning on doing like 6.0 for at least a minimum of 5 years.
If there's even a need for it now.
If there's a need for it, yeah.
What we plan to do was 5.0 to 5.1 was that was a major update from the 4.1 rules, and as the rule book is, that rule book's considered by many of you guys to be one of the best rule books around, and which thank you. It is not necessarily was perfect. There was a lot of people asking questions. Stefan, Devin and I just we're not worthy, really did a lot of great work. And the combat tables, we had people we have a lot of new gamers, both high schoolers, teenage girls are playing it with their boyfriends. Our friends are playing it with their wives. And a lot of the stuff, when you play a war game, we adapt because we've been playing war games, most of us, forever. Newbies do not adapt. And if the younger they are, the less adaptable they are because they've got their thought patterns set a certain way and they haven't been playing the games. So we did a lot with correcting, like not so much correcting, but adjusting the terms that were not properly being used on the right combat table. So that's why you have that. And remember, it's always a free download, guys. Okay, it's never going to cost you if you just want to look at it or print it yourself. It's always free. If you want to buy the book, you can. But you don't have to buy the book, and that's the big difference there. Okay, we are working on. We're gonna call them optional rules, so no one fights with us. Where if we have a module rule that we introduced. Whatever, I can't think of anything. Okay. One of the ones I'm working on is a little bit more detailed tank battles. Okay, those will go in the module and/or an optional rule book. And the object of it is, that will be updated all the time. And if it does, it'll be a free download. You can buy a copy if you want to, but it's technically going to be a free download. You guys can implement it in all the games. None of the games, it'll be one of those type of things. We'll give you our rough opinion of should you use it, but the bottom line is make sure both players agree. On the computer game, all the digital stuff will be check boxes on the options screen, believe it or not. So you can decide what rule. I don't want to play with that rule. I want to play with this rule. And there we'll go. Okay. Oh, one last thing about the library, which I did not put a thing in. If you go, we now have a complete online library of our manuals. They're not all up there yet because I haven't done them all. But if you go to http://library.lnlpublishing.com, it brings you to our online library. You can look at any manual that's on there right now. You can search perfectly. Hey, Mike, how you doing? Okay, you can download the manual from there. You can print the manual from there right directly to your printer. And all of the training videos, if we have any for the game, is also on there. So you can actually put the book on your iPad, okay? But, obviously you need to browse on your iPad. But you can then play the game and type in a word. It shows you how many times it shows up at pages. If you click the word like mines and then hit on the word, it'll highlight on the page where that word is for you. So it's really, we've tried to really make it very easy for you guys to see what's going on. Okay, so I'm going to show you some pictures. Okay, so again, you can see how those counters are pretty damn thick, and they are much larger within the pictures. And again, that is because they are playtest counters. So no, we're not changing the counters that way. Deb, can you see that? Are you still there? Or did I lose you?
I had to step away real quick. I will be right back.
Okay. Okay. No, I guess that's not you, buddy. I can't read Russian, so there you go.
Our Russian friend was asking about 4K maps and what releases were going to be coming out this year.
Well, we're going to go through some of them now, so I'm going to just do them in order, just not to break apart. Here's a nice picture of two of the maps, okay, that we brought to the con. These are the X maps, right?
Yeah, those are the X maps.
Okay. And one of the things we think we're going to be doing is putting the X maps into the games and making the extended maps the option. Okay. Yeah, this will actually, we make a lot of money from the X maps. We're separating them because we think the maps are more popular, the X maps, and we want you to, get the most bang for your buck, to put it bluntly. Anything on this map, Devin, that is unique or different, or?
Well, I just got to go back, and I say this every time. Mark has just outdone himself on the map. If you kind of scroll into that big one right there, you can even see where he's got the air ventilation, little shacks up on top, plus the furnace, the furnaces right there popping out of the building. I mean, just Mark has just done an outstanding job on the details of all of his maps, and he's just getting better and better and better. So this is very cool urban maps. Got some guards units there, Lieutenant Zima, and that was Ivan Serreres. Yes, I will continue to butcher foreign names because I am bad with names. But these are some of the guards counters with Lieutenant Zima and the 224 guards infantry. We're going to see a few scenarios with the guards infantry.
Yes.
Up close assault personnel.
Okay. And here's another shot.
Some of the rural maps, lots of wheat fields. Since most of all the scenarios take place in southeast Russia, it's very flat, very open, lots of wheat fields punctuated by cities here and there. So you're going to see a lot of wheat field maps in this one. And again, just taking a look at the detail that Mark has done, you can see the skylights in that factory building there in the lower right-hand corner. And if you look way down in the lower right-hand corner, that little Soviet symbol right there, this is a new troop type that we've introduced, is the NKVDs. You can even see like one of the skylights has been broken out. It's just the little details that Mark puts into it. But this scenario is fighting in Rostov, and German pioneers are trying to reduce an NKVD stronghold. And NKVDs really are not good on the assault, but really good in defense. So, and there are some special rules that they get for. It's tougher to spot them because they've had time to prepare, and they're the units that were from the city, so they know all the hidey holes and stuff like that. But yeah, so we got a new troop type, NKVDs. And again, these are the German pioneers moving in to push in to try to reduce the stronghold that the NKVD troops have. We've got a female nurse in there, and just a hero.
Okay, there's a
kind of a pulled back view of that scenario. And again, German pioneers trying to push into the city or into the factory.
Oh, and this game will be the first game to come with the newer admin counters.
Yes. Well, some of the newer admin counters, not all of them. The bigger ones for the vehicle emplacements and hold down.
First floor.
Never mind. Ignore what I said. Do the NKVD Mo going? Do NKVD shoot their own troops? Didn't think that'd be a good idea to put that rule in there. So.
Oh, that should be like the German can roll something, man. The special skill.
Or do they just boost morale in other ways? Well, they do have the same special rule that all Russians on the Eastern Front have, that 1 hex you can increase the morale, period. But the big thing, the big trick, if you want to call it that, to the NKVD is that whenever they take a shaken result, they can ignore that shaken result and immediately be reduced to a half squad if they're a full squad. So it's much tougher to shake them, but you're going to inflict more casualties by going that way. And then several of the maps right there. Like I said, lots of fields and rural villages, 1 forest map, 1 hill map, which has wheat fields on it, and 2 urban maps.
The National Weather Service has issued flash.
Yeah, we're getting flash floods here now too. Okay. Oh, Mo's unhappy with your decision.
Well, I can live with that.
Okay.
Well, it's not that's not what the point of, I mean, I guess you could look at it that way. It's more that they're willing to stand and fight to the last man and put themselves in harm's way. So instead of shaking, they just will do more, rise to more heroic actions, thus taking more damage. That's the intent of it. I mean, if you want to look at it that, hey, you know, there's a political officer there, you know, shooting the occasional guy to, you know, keep everybody in the fight. I mean, I suppose you could do that, but that's, you know, that's not the intent.
Okay. Just so you know, on the digital front, okay, if you've been paying at all attention to all the stuff coming out digital, we did release
For the Emperor.
For the Emperor, okay, does have a map in there. It's not a totally brand new map. It's a modified map for Wake Island. It will be something we're doing differently in the sense that normally we print the stuff out for you and then we ship it to you. Shipping is getting, as most of you know, just crazily out of control, and it's hurting a lot of sales and a lot of people. So what we're going to do is allow Wake Island, or For the Emperor, to be, you can buy it and we'll print the X map / regular map and put it in the game for you. And it's just scenarios, there's no counters. But we're also planning to make a PDF version of it. So if you're overseas or you just want to pay the shipping, you can download it yourself. You can print it yourself. We're going to give you 2 types of map prints. You just come in and take them. 2 types of map prints. And no, I took care of that. Just take Sophie with you too.
I bring it back.
Give it to Nicholas, please. And so basically what it'll do is let you download it. It'll have a 2-parter map. So you can print it and tape it together, glue it together, whatever you want to do. Or, and a 1 big part map for the X map, which may or may not fit at your home printers. But if you can take them to Staples or print shop and print them out in any material you want, you can mount it and add it to your game collection. So that was that's the plan to see how well that works. Now, Devin has got Red Gauntlet, which is going to be, again, another module. We'll have at least a map and will be a scenario pack. There's also Pledge of Honor, which is Vietnam scenario pack. Is that focusing on the Australians and New Zealanders, or?
Okay, basically for the Vietnam expansion battle pack has 2 regular Army, 2 Marine, 2 ARVN, and 2 Anzac scenarios in it.
Okay.
So we've got a little bit of a mix of everything in there. And of course, you know, VC and NVA opponents. So.
And I kind of skipped over that, but what about Red Gauntlet? What's that basically?
Okay, Red Gauntlet has 5 scenarios with the Americans, 2 with the French, and 1 with American, French, and Belgians.
Okay.
Tried to include as many of the forces in there as I could.
Now, there's 2 sets of, I guess we'll call them 4K X maps. The original owner of the company, when Heroes of the Blitzkrieg was out, had maps in the Heroes of the Blitzkrieg. Okay, when they made what was Heroes of Blitzkrieg became Heroes in Defiance, just to keep anyone who's not following. And then you had Heroes of the Gap, which would also have a French module called On Poutre, if I'm not pronouncing that properly. But it used the maps from Heroes of the Blitzkrieg. When we repackaged them, I just included the maps from Heroes of the Blitzkrieg also in what is now called Heroes Against the Red Star. When we were redoing these for the computer game, I was able to have Mark take those maps and make a World War II setting that matches the rest of the system. The maps were done by a different artist, again, before we were involved, and it never quite matched exactly the other maps. So we, not that they were bad, it just didn't match. It was a different artist style. So, but basically what we did was we made new maps for Heroes in the Defiance, and then we took those same maps and we're making a 4K map pack for Heroes Against the Red Star, which are the same maps, but they're modern look. And if I can find something quickly, I'm not promising yet, I will just give a slight preview of what we're talking about. You know, this never goes easy, right?
Trying to find where they were all at.
I remember where they're at. It's just loading them all up. Okay, so here we go. Alignment of maps. Let's see. Okay, here's Heroes in Defiance. Oh, look at that. That wasn't as bad as I thought. Okay, so I'm just going to pick on a map. I have no idea what the map is. You guys see that?
Yep.
Okay, so this map is.
She really doesn't want to. She doesn't talk.
So anyway, that's a redone map. Let me see if I can find another one. Oops. Here's another one. That's a canal map. So you can see that, like I said, it's more in the style of how the maps or the buildings and everything else. Now take these same maps and go to Heroes Against the Red Star, go to maps. I'm not sure what numbers I was on. So you can see now the road has a little bit more of a highway feel. There's another one there. Railroad tracks. And you can notice the railroad tracks now also a little bit raised with the gravel on the side. Mark really does exceptional work. It has a tunnel now. Is that coming up there, Dev?
Yep, it's looking just fine. You can definitely see that it's a tunnel.
It looks like Roxville on the road there from the tunnel. Look at that.
Yep.
Okay, and I'll show one or two more real quick. So it gives you guys an idea. You know, again, do you need to buy these things? Where I'm telling you as the owner of the company, nope. Okay, we did add some more maps too. So in other words, if it's there, I said, hey, the bridge isn't here, or the building's not here, it's this type of building. We make a new map for the computer game. The 4K maps have all those in them. It says, when will the release? Okay, here's a question I can actually answer. Okay, you can see them as early as this week. The maps are done. Mark Van Marshall, and just want to point this out. For those who don't know, Mark lives in Germany. And I believe two of the towns that were right next to his town with the massive flooding in Germany going by were literally washed away. I mean, he says you can't even tell there was a town there anymore. And he's been working in the rescue efforts of the people and giving them support and helping them out. So obviously, this is not even the second or third or fourth of what's going on over there. So as soon as Mark gets them to us, they'll go live. Actually, we found a few errors, or should I say, Stefan
found the errors. It wasn't us.
It wasn't us. We totally missed it. But once Mark makes those corrections, they'll go live. So, but it's been pretty bad, and Belgium got hit too, and I believe the Netherlands too, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so our prayers and thoughts go out to them guys. And, you know, there's just crazy things going on in the world today, isn't it? Okay, so what do you want to handle next, Dev? World at War 85?
Yeah, let's do the World War 85 next.
Okay, I don't know if Devin told you, but we canceled the whole series.
Yep, just the sales, the numbers just weren't there.
Right, okay, World at War 85. Hold on. Okay, now some of these pictures will look weird because it's on our special map in order to, you know, to bring him to the shows and not have a problem with them. This is, I believe, the monster map that's going to be in the new game. 4 of the maps will be provided in Blood and Fury, and 4 of the maps will be applied We Shall Hold, which is the 3rd one. Now, someone said that the 3rd game disappeared from the store. I don't know what the heck I did. I'll have to double check that. It's not been canceled or changed or lost. Okay, it just probably just I must have hit something when I was doing something else. So I'll fix that. Okay, and then the game after that should be America Breached. Okay, so those are the ones that are active being worked on by Keith. Nicholas is doing We Shall Hold, and I believe, are the French in that one, or is that the next one after that Nicholas is doing?
We Shall Hold. Nicholas is working on We Shall Hold.
Okay,
He's helping work on it.
and I know he's doing all the research behind the French module.
Yeah, and that's We Shall Hold.
Which
That'll be the French, Belgium, Denmark module.
Okay. All right, but anyway, look at the map. As you can see, it's a little heavy in the urban.
Okay. Just a little bit.
And now I got and I got Jeff, although I don't know if Jeff actually would do this, but we asked Jeff if he could take both monster maps, combine them, and make a scenario that requires both games. It'll be a free scenario, guys. It's not it's for those who really want to. The gameplay on these monster scenarios, you can actually play. When we go to WBC, I think they played 3 games, and I think they finished 2 of the monster scenarios in that time period. And what's nice about it is you can jump in and jump out. So if you're doing other things, not going to be a problem.
I will also point out we do have 2 new terrain types on these new maps. If you look in the center right there, you'll see that the urban hexes that are brown or red or brownish color there right in the center, those are dense urban hexes, and they have increased movement for troops and infantry to move through, and there's a slight advantage that infantry have. They get extra defense in there. You will also see some hexes that are kind of white. Pretty much all, yeah, those right there, those are industrial hexes, and those only count as obscuring terrain, not blocking terrain like most urban hexes are. So those are obscuring, so you can actually kind of see through them just because they're big industrial style buildings in there. So those are the 2 new terrain types that are going to be scattered about on this massive urban map.
Yeah, they're having a good time with that. Okay.
When is the 4K version coming?
Now, I don't know if he means 4K for this, or he's talking about the 4K.
No, I think he's meaning for World at War.
Okay. This is the 4K version.
I think he meant X maps. So
yeah, if it's for the X maps, we're just waiting for Mark to get a second to get those changes done, and then they're released. They're ready to go.
Yes, lots of close quarter battles. Lots of close quarter.
Yeah,
battles.
the game we're going to show you. Hold on, I don't know how clean this picture is. Oh, it's not that probably blowing up. You can see the bridge there with the dashes. Is that a bridge or a forge there?
I think that's a bridge.
Okay.
Oh no, it may be a ford.
Yeah, because it doesn't. It's hard to tell.
Yeah.
And it could be just something that Mark hasn't finished too.
Yeah.
Okay. And this is the monster map. There's Mo there again. Okay.
He snuck in a lot of photos for some reason.
Hey, he's talented. Okay. Oh, we won't. One of the things we're going to be doing with the Kickstarters, and this is all of them. We're not going to be having any. Anything that doesn't fit in the box isn't going in the game. We might provide a monster map later on. It'll be after the Kickstarter and after the game is selling, and it'll be one of these special order things. Same thing with the neoprene, Play-Ready card mat. If we do that again, and it would be very limited stock. Okay, but hopefully that answers that question. Yeah, Mo made out. He was only, 20 minutes away from the whole con? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Oh, and we will be doing another World at War 85 Storming the Gap monster map sale, probably more towards the September time frame. So if you didn't get one, we'll go from there. Okay.
We've had a lot of people asking about the monster map for Frankfurt.
Yeah. And there's some more. Hold on. Yes. Okay. And anyway, so there's there you can see Keith and Jeff. Jeff was playing with some other guys there. Seem to be having a good time. This Keith and Jeff grinning away. And the gentleman there is Mark, what's his last name again? Scarborough? Did I get that right?
Maybe.
The guy that's directly to the left of Jeff, who's pointing to the map, that gentleman came out with a Napoleonic Waterloo game. That is, I think it's Waterloo. I can't remember. I think it is. Yeah, and it's an area combat game for Napoleonic. Very nicely done, by the way.
You picked up a copy of it when you were there, didn't you?
I did, but of course I don't have it in arm's reach. But maybe when we take a quick break, I'll run and grab it just so I can show people the game. And I do know it's available for sale on. It's not a GMT game, but it's available for sale on GMT. Okay. Okay, that's all the World at War 85 pictures, guys. Hey, guys, okay, be kind. Do we have any other questions for World at War 85?
Harold Lloyd is asking about Nations at War Digital.
That we're still working on with the programming team. We might be switching teams on that. We don't have an update to them, but as soon as we do, we will state something, and I will put it. We'll put it out there.
Yeah, we haven't abandoned it. It's just the programming team is a little bit slower than Tom is for the digital, but it's not something we've abandoned. We are still working on it.
Yeah, it's as great and talented as Devin and I are. We are not programmers. Okay, not even.
Nope. I can program in BASIC, but just basic type programs.
So right now we've given them the stuff for Nations at War, Desert Heat, and like I said, well, Einstein's Triumph, and there's some add-ons from the compendium as well. But like I said, they may not be able to complete the game. And they did a great job, and for what they have done. And but we're probably going to have to get somebody else to stretch it out some more. Okay. Well, we'll talk about. Scratching here, dogs. Okay. I thought I had more pictures for this, and I could have swore that I know where they are. Okay, we're going to talk about something we have in it's a brand new product. It's coming down the pike very fast. Someone asked me about Grenada, and they said it was done 2 years ago. Okay. Okay. I don't know. Let me just type back here. I got another screen here. I don't know who told him that. The game was done a while ago under the other developer. When he left the company, he asked Ralph Ferrari. It was done, but when that developer left, Ralph Ferrari came to me and asked if he could have more time with it. He wanted to develop some more scenarios, some of the map changes, stuff like that. Hold on one second. I think one of the dogs wants to get in. Deb, you can pick that up better than I can anyway.
Yep. All right. So Ralph has got the playtest counters, the playtest maps. He's got a playtest team of about 5 or 6 guys, and he's adding more scenarios into it and kind of revamping some of the other scenarios that Jeff Lewis had been working on. So Ralph and actually Stefan is helping him with it as well. It's all at the playtest stage right now. There's a team of like 5 or 6 guys that are working on it. We are hoping maybe to have it to Kickstarter by the end of the year. Can't promise anything on that because that's how real life rolls. But yes, Grenada is getting much closer to being an actual reality. That is going to have 3 counter sheets, like 12 maps. It's got a bunch of maps in them, and I think Ralph was shooting for like 20 or 21 scenarios in that. So it just takes a little bit time to play test all that stuff. But yeah, all the counter art done, all the map art is done. I would say the modular rules are 85 to 90% done, just because they still need to play test some stuff, and just Ralph needs to finish tweaking the scenarios. And yeah, the Heroes of Grenada will be finished.
Yeah, so Stefan is, if I'm not mistaken, Stefan is the one doing the charge in that one with Jeff?
Yes, yes. Or with Ralph. Yeah, Ralph and Stefan are working on that hand to hand.
So, just to answer the guy texted me. Yeah, I don't care what he says that it was finished. It was technically finished, but he wanted more time, took it back. And I actually talked to Ralph yesterday. So trust me, it's not done yet. Ralph wanted to, like I said, do some more for it. So don't worry about that. It is being worked on, and it's on excellent hands. It's Ralph and Stefan.
Yeah.
Here's the game I was talking about for Mark's game. It's Companion War Games is the name of the company, and it's a Napoleonic area movement game. Like I said, I believe it's available up on the GMT store. Excellent game was well worth the money. Okay. You guys all got to come on time. You keep asking questions, guys, that are already been answered. And it's going to look bad when I give you different answers at different parts in the show. Okay, let me see. All right. Okay, we're going to talk about we have 2 Napoleonic games where we are doing. The first one we're going to talk about, I'm going to really let Devin talk about it more since they're in his wheelhouse, is Close Quarter Battles Waterloo. Okay, and I'm going to have to find these pictures first. Okay, there's a close-up of the map. This is, what did you say, was a regiment company size? What is it?
This is going to be very unique for Napoleonics, because this is company size Napoleonics. There are a few counters in there that are battalion size, but you can break them down to companies, and companies can be formed up into battalions, but primarily working on a company size scale, which you just don't see many games on. Now, again, that's why it's called close quarters battles, because they're very small battles. We've got 2 maps. This is the La Haye Saint map, and then we've got the Hougoumont map as well. And Andrew is got like 6 or 7 scenarios per map. So they're going to be really small scenarios to really big scenarios covering the entire map. There's going to be a lot of game in this. It is going to be an card activation like World at War. You draw a card, and hey, that tells you which formation you get to activate. It is also card assisted, so you're going to have a card, a hand of random. They will be random. not really objective cards, just random cards to help you in combat, maybe give you a chance to extra rally a troop, or maybe you're trying to put up ladders to get over the walls at Hougoumont. You get an extra dice roll on that. Breaching the gates at Lahar or La Haye Saint, just a whole bunch of thematic cards to assist in the gameplay. No, it's not lock and load tactical.
It's a totally
close.
Nah, if anything, I would say it's probably a little bit closer to Nations at War, if anything.
Yeah.
But it's not. It was never designed or developed under our tutelage. This is a gentleman designer. His name is Andrew Glenn. He's done all the artwork, and he's done all the has a group of play testers. He's done an excellent job on it, and we were very fortunate to get him to join our team for us to publish it. We want to show you some more. We're going to have him on the show too. Here's another. I think that's
more a pulled out view of La Haye Saint.
Okay.
And there's Hougoumont. Up close view of it. And then a pulled back view of it.
And I believe I got some more stuff here.
Really close up view of Hougoumont.
And again, the blurriness is not the graphics; it is more the
canvas style material we printed it on.
Yeah.
But yeah, just absolutely beautiful maps. When I saw these maps and was told that it was a company scale, it's like I told Dave, we got to get it. We got to pick this up. We got to do it. And the great thing is, he's done all the artwork. I mean, the rules manual is pretty much done. He's finishing working off on getting the scenarios completed, because like I said, there's like 6 or 7 scenarios per map. And he's also converting all the counter art, which we unfortunately don't have any to show off, converting it to the lock and load. Oh, we do. Well, we don't have the counters. These are the examples. But he's taking these images, and these are just gloriously colorful images, which the pageantry of Napoleonics is one of the things I love about it. But he's taking it, and see, that's laid out in your standard GMT sprue counter sheet. So he's taking the counters and shifting it over to our 5/8 rounded corners counter sheet. And that's kind of the biggest thing that is kind of slowing things down right now, because it takes a while to transfer all those images over. But yeah, here's some more pulled out views of the map. Just absolutely beautiful. There's the cover.
Okay. So we'll have, like I said, we'll have more about that. We're going to have the designer on. Now, because we can't do anything normal in this company, we have another Napoleonic game. Okay. First, you have no Napoleonic games, and then you have 2 back-to-back. So,
well, real quick, Board Game Bloke was asking, what command and control rules are there for the tactical Napoleonic? Basically, it comes down to units need to stay within a certain number of hexes of the company, or not the company, the battalion or brigade higher command. We're not really having a lot of command and control, but you do need to stay within. It's like, all right, there's the brigade commander. We need to stay within so many hexes of them. Or, well, there's our battalion commander. We need to stay so many hexes in control. It's not a heavy rule set that we're using for command and control. So, and I know it's important in rank and file, but I hate dealing with it and hate worrying about it. So I'm kind of happy that it's not that heavy of a rule in this one. Yes, it will be Kickstarted.
Yeah, we plan to release the majority of I'm going to call them our premier line of games via Kickstarter. We're not going to be printing thousands of extra copies. So for any of the games we're talking about or have talked about, we're going to take the Kickstarter order. We're going to order the games, okay? And we're going to order maybe an extra 100 or so. So if you really want it, the best place to get it will be at the Kickstarter. What I was saying before about the Kickstarter, these games will come pre-boxed. So when these games come in here, we're going to slap a shipping sticker on it, and it's going to go into another bin and out the door to the shipping company. I don't want a repeat of the delays of shipping and everything else that we had. So it's going to be made to go very fast to get it in your hands. We're not going to be waiting and getting 6 games at once like we've done in the past. We're going to try to rotate them a lot faster this way. Okay, now that's what we have. Now the other Napoleonic game, which also Devin is working with, well, actually it's Blackwell, I think, in this one, isn't it? It's called Glory Empires, Wellington versus Napoleon. Actually, it's first victories. This is a close-up of the artwork that Terry, and we lucked out with both Napoleonic games. The designers of the game, also working on the counters, the maps, the rule books. They've done an incredible job. Now this, I'm not a Napoleonic person, so let me just say this now, okay? Anyway, like you guys should be trying to get a deal with you coming. We are, well, we do have a deal with Second Chance Games, but being that England or UK, or you want to call it now, is not part of the EU, that's may cause us some problems. We're in very close contact with the guys at Second Chance Games. They have all of our games in stock. And so if you want anything over there in Europe, we highly recommend Brave New World in Germany, I believe they are. They're one of our dealers over there. So you got quite a few people to pick from. Let's see quickly. Well, LnLP at Pacificon. Right now, it's not on our books to go at all. The only other con we might go to, and probably not, would be John Kranz's one. What is that called?
Consim
World.
Yeah. Next month in Phoenix.
Yeah, and only basically because we can take the wives and they can go do something and we can still play games. Okay, and then what's this comment here? Yes, it does. Okay, so let's talk about Glory and Empire. So I know this is a lot more of a lot more detailed game than our Close Code Battles game. You know about the system that relates to the Seclosis, and I'll flash some pictures up there as you're doing it.
All right. Basically, Terry is a veteran of the Labatai game system. He's designed, I think he designed Moskva and like maybe one or two others. So being a veteran of the Labatai system and having been totally burned out on the Labatai system, because Labatai has like 20 rule sets and you have to agree which rule sets you're going to play before you even begin the game. Labatai is the advanced squad leader of the Napoleonics world. And there's a lot of people who are getting tired of how thick and heavy it is. I know that's heresy for me to say, but it's true. So Terry has basically taken the Labatai system and made it much easier and more accessible and more playable. And Terry is basically, he's done all the artwork, he's done all the counters. Again, one of the biggest things that's slowing us down is that he is taken the GMT style sprue counters, counter art that he had originally laid it out for, and he's putting it onto our rounded corner counter. So that takes a little while. But the first one is going to be take place in Portugal, as Rastaman is continuing to point out. It's going to be Vermio and Rolica are going to be the two battles, and they're kind of small battles. So we kind of wanted to do something smaller, as if smaller. To see how people would react to the system and everything like that. Terry does have a lot of other expansions that he plans on doing. I'm hoping Leipzig will be the next one that he does after this, but that's down the road a ways. Do you have any of the counter art that we can show off?
I actually have the newest counters that he did.
Okay, very well.
Okay, actually finding them will be different. Here we go. Look at this.
Yeah, look at that. So if you're familiar with Labatai, you're going to recognize these counters. And again, like I said, I love the pageantry that goes along with Napoleonic and ACW and AWI games. One thing that you're not going to have on these counters is the movement factor. Now, I know all these counters, it looks real busy and real confusing, but once you know what each of the individual numbers are, it all flows together. Most of the stuff along the top is unit and formations, and then firepower, range, just it's a lot of easy stuff. Movement isn't on there because for the most part in Napoleonics, everybody walks at the same pace, and cavalry moves at the same pace, and cannons move at the same pace. So everybody's got a flat movement for whatever type they are. Infantry are going to have X amount of movement points. Cavalry is going to have X amount. We're not going to have that clutter on there. The combat system is D10 or percentile, and it all comes down to modifiers. It's a brigade level system, and I think it has genetic roots from Labatai, just much more manageable and much more accessible to us plebeian common folk. So I'm really excited and looking forward to this. Again, this is something we hope to have to Kickstarter. I hate to say this, by the end of the year, but things may change. Don't hold me to that. Don't pull out the pitchforks and the torches and chase me down if it's not done by
Now,
the end of the year.
Just because I can. Okay, I'm going to take this off. Just so you know, this is the new look of the rulebook.
Yep. He and Blackwell have been working diligently because I've been part of the email chain, and they have definitely been spirited discussions on how to lay out the rule book. But we both Terry and us are very happy with what we've come up with so far. So
yeah, that's and this is another part of the rulebook.
Yep,
nice and clean. I believe it's 11 to 12 point font for the guys who have asked over at Lock and Load. Yes, I believe that they are going to be that size.
Yep.
And these are slightly older tables, but just so you guys can see some of the stuff we've had here. And these, I believe, are vassal games.
Yes, that's the first thing that Terry did is he put together a vassal module so he could play test the entire system. Now, like I said, this is going to be a little bit more heavy of a game than a lot of our other systems are, but it's not that heavy. It's easy to get intimidated by Napoleonics, mainly because a lot of people aren't familiar with rank and file warfare and a hex encounter system. And there are tactics. We want to pull more of our customer base into us. And those people who have been in World War II fans, they're not really going to understand how Napoleonic tactics work. Not saying everybody, I'm just saying as a general guide. We're going to have a tactics guide in there. As you can see, I mean, he's kind of got how to do the counter movements and everything for the different formations. So we're going to have kind of a primer manual to teach everybody how Napoleonic tactics work in it. And Terry is going to be writing that.
It's a beginner's guide, basically.
Yep. And I will be right back again.
Okay. Now, as he comes back, you can find where all the chatter is about the game. If you have any questions, anything else on Facebook. And the group is called Glory and Empire. If you're looking for it, here is, if I can get this to blow up. Okay, let's see. There we go. Okay, this is a breakdown of a leader, overall commander, leader. There's a cavalry unit. You can see what the different numbers are. Again, this may not be perfect, but I actually think this is updated because he just posted this today. Okay, and you can see Terry made the numbers a lot more bold and easier to read, which I think was excellent. Okay, and we do plan to have Terry on the show. Do you guys have any questions or anything you're interested to know about that? Okay. He gives a really good breakdown what the system is about and how the system is different, but more accessible. There's a production update, which I just showed you those counters before. So, but then, like I said, it's on his system. It's on Facebook. You can go and see what all the chat is about there. Okay. Devin, are the units battalions and regiments or what?
It's a battalion brigade level.
Okay. And do you happen to know how many scenarios there are?
Um, Not many, not quite as many as going to be in close quarters Waterloo. I think there's going to be 3 to 4 scenarios per battle with like 1 or maybe 2 hypothetical what if scenarios.
Okay. Okay, what else do we have to discuss here then? Point blank, World at War. I'll get into this real quick as we wait for. Oh, you are back there. There you
Yep,
are.
I am back. I pop back in like a ninja.
Okay. This is just starting playtesting. Keith's working on a modern day air combat game. Okay. I do believe there's 2 or 4 scenarios in the game per battle, basically. I think is what he did. Yeah. Okay. So these are some plane counters. We're going to have Keith on the show. There's Mo playing the game. I don't know how much Mo got to play it, but from what I remember, he found it enjoyable. They talked about some of the rules and stuff like that. I love Mo's shirt there. I got to find this shirt. One Crazy Island. I got to find that. Oh, my shirt says nothing the government gives you is free. Someone's asked me what my shirt said. Oh, he said they played the whole game.
Oh
Well,
yeah,
what was your opinion?
Mo and Keith were at it for hours.
Okay, Deb, I'm not sure what he's asking here, so I'm going to make this your question.
Okay. How much close air support versus air to air? Again, it all depends on how you assign your squadrons, because as you can see right there on the image, you've got the mission card and the units that that have been assigned to that mission. Now you may have 4 or 5 missions that you have to figure out over the quote unquote game turn or the length of the game, but it's putting packages together and then committing them to do ground strikes or to defend your own ground positions that are going to be under attack by the enemy. So it's going to be similar to World at War. You've got dice, you're throwing dice, target numbers, stuff like that. Then defense, there's electronic warfare. You've got to worry about bingo fuel. You can kind of see that second card off to the right that kind of looks hand drawn. And that was something that I think Mo and Keith came up with while they were designing, that basically your units start off on the mission card and you kind of put them in what row. And obviously I can't read what they all are, but one of the columns is drop tanks, if you've got expended munitions and stuff like that, and you just slide the counters into the column of what their status is, and that will affect what you're looking at on the counter. So if you're out of munitions, well, you're not going to be able to defend yourself real well. If you've still got your drop tanks, well, then you've got more range that you can fly. So yeah, that was again, I didn't sit in much of this. Rastaman. So each card has several squadrons that make up a mission. Yes, the scenarios will be designed that you have several squadrons that you're assigned by scenario, and several targets that you have to attack, and several targets that you have to defend. Now, if you go ahead and scroll out a little bit, David, so we can see the map. Each one of these hexes is basically 5 kilometers, and you've got a bunch of range or altitude bands. The 2 boxes that don't have any of those orange circles to it, kind of in the northern part, that's the ground target and the target that's on the deck. Range band 1, which I think is 5,000 feet. Yeah, there we go. Mo's answering that. But so range band 1 has got 1 dot on it. Range band 2 has got 2 dots on it. Range band 3 is, and depending on what your maximum altitude is, I mean, if you're going to bounce enemy aircraft, you're going to want to start off high, especially if you've got NATO with look down radar. Yeah, 5-click megahexes. It all comes down to, how do you put the package together and what planes you assign in what roles. And then there's cards that you can use to enhance your package loadouts, or it's like we see that blue one right there, surprise intercept. You know, it's random event cards that you're going to have in your hand that you can play. It's from what I saw, it looks really, really cool. And so there's the board laid out. All of the map. I think it's a little bit bigger because I could have swore that Keith had some pieces of the map that he actually didn't use for the play test. And Keith and David and Mo, with Sean sitting there in the background. Not a lot of pictures of me because I was the one taking most of the pictures.
Well, no, we got some pictures of you.
Oh, there are some pictures of me. There's not as many as other people. Not that I'm bitter or hurt or anything.
Okay, here's another question for you there.
They will be defined by, 4th Guards, battalion, command, installation, stuff like that. I don't have a full listing of what the specific ground targets are.
And there it is.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, Mo can definitely answer the question much better than I can, because I was just kind of cursory looking over the shoulder from time to time. Suggest David use 2-inch ground units with all the info on them. Maybe a mini card. I don't know about a 2-inch, but maybe a mini card.
Okay, and next thing, so I figure out where it is. And it's not there. Hold on. Okay, the next big thing that we got a chance to play is Stephen Pohl's game. Hold on, we got some questions I didn't answer. Hey, Mo's just waiting for Keith to say that. We've had questions. I think the answer is Johnny Grogan has been scared to meet up with you on Friendly Fire, and people are asking when you're gonna have your next Friendly Fire show.
Well, the last few months we had Historicon one month. Then the next month we had the Armchair Dragoon Con. Then we had Protocon last month. Yeah, we want to get back to the Friendly Fire. It's just we've had something every month for like the last 4 or 5 months that have interfered with it. So we do want to get back to it. And we want to start drawing more of the fans into it. Just so then it's not always just Johnny and I playing. So actually, if you're interested, if you want to participate in one of the Friendly Fire episodes playing against Johnny or myself, go ahead and drop me a message on Facebook, and we'll get you worked into that.
Okay, Mike, you're asking about, I'm going to assume, the air game. We have no concept of when it's going to be ready. Keith has been working on this on the side, and this was the first preview of it. So I'm definitely not going to say it's even an alpha. It's an alpha at this point. It played well. Something that's been getting more worked on recently is Second Fleet North Atlantic.
Storming the Atlantic, as we like to call it, because everything has got to be the first game in all the World of War 85 has got to be storming something. Storming the gap, storming the sky, storming the Atlantic.
Someone asked if this was just a reskin of World War 85, and the answer to me is definitely no. This is its own unique system. I played the first round of it. It was very, very basic initially against Keith. I got close to Keith. I shot all my missiles, blew him up. Luckily, I sank most of his stuff because I had nothing left because I had no control. Okay, and it's not the first time I've heard that. So, no time on that. Mike, as far as this game goes, Second Fleet North Atlantic, I think this is going to go down the pike pretty quick.
Steve has been doing an outstanding job. The map is pretty much done. We need to get the Guick line in there, but other than that, the map is done, and the counters for the most part we got all laid out. There's just some of the numbers that need to be fixed. But yeah, it's Steve's cleaning up the rules, and we'll start working on the scenarios.
And I would say I had a really good time with this. I know, Sean, Devin, you played against.
Oh yeah. Keith and I played this, and I know Steve ran like 6 or 7 demos of it during the con. So it was probably the one game that got the most pull and got the most attention and attraction.
Okay, let me get some pictures up here for you. Okay, we have quite a few pictures here. So
yeah, well, yeah, we got lots of pictures of this. Okay, as you can kind of see, it's a little bit textured. That's the type of canvas or whatever it was that we printed it out on. It worked really well. It laid flat. It stayed flat. And it works really, really good. You've got the port there. You've got the airfield, the radar station. And if you look, that white line, that's the white line for the radar installation. So as long as that radar installation is active and you can knock them out with airstrikes, any fleet that moves into that is going to be automatically detected. So yeah, there's a lot of those on the map. So yeah, you get close to the coastline, your ships are going to be detected. And here's some from the Soviet side of things. And again, you can see where these radar sweeps are. And if you notice, it's kind of a little bit reddish in some of those. That's for the Soviets. So the Soviet air cover or the Soviet radar is kind of tinted red, and the NATO air cover is just regular color. It's not colored in any way, shape, or form. But you've got SAM installations, you got radar installations, you've got airfields, you've got it's just a mess of ground installations for you to shoot missiles at.
Now, do you remember what the dashed lines are compared to the partial dashed lines with the dots?
I don't remember, no. I know Steve told us, but I can't remember what the difference for the dashed airlines and the solid airlines are. I think the dashed lines is surface to air installations, because the Soviets had some surface to air missiles that would shoot for, a couple 100 kilometers. So I think that's what those are for. And so here we have a Perry class frigate, FFG, John H. Sides, and basically, if it looks real similar to World at War. So in the upper right hand corner, you got the 023, and for the life of me, I cannot remember what that is. But yeah, it's 2 dice at 3 to hit. The H means it has a helo on it, which helps in anti-submarine warfare. And if you see, it's got that little blue stripe across the top. As I was mentioning earlier, way back at the beginning of the video when David
Steve's here. There you go.
Oh, there we go. So see, Steve can answer these questions. Glad you're here, Steve. So the little blue line at the top means it's an anti-submarine stance. So like I said, there are two stances you can be in: anti-surface and anti-submarine. There is no damage markers in this game. You get hit once, you are combat ineffective and or sunk. And then you've got the 2 harpoons on there, which is that's it. You've got 2 harpoons. That's your total offensive capabilities. There is no gun ratings on these ships like there was in the Fleet series. The one circled at the bottom, that's the movement. The 1 dice at 5 in the lower right hand corner, I'm fairly certain that's anti-submarine warfare. The 1 at the 7 is the self-defense. So yeah, when you you kind of got to be very careful with your ammunition, because once you're done with your surface to surface missiles, there's no restocking them, at least as of yet. There may be some bigger scenarios where you can go back to port and rearm your harpoons and all the myriad of Soviet submarines there are. But once you shoot your load, you're basically then just a big target. And Steve, as Steve said, each point represents 2 missiles. So for the John H sides, they have 4 harpoon missiles. And you can whenever you do an attack, you can launch all of them, all your missiles at once, or you can launch some of them, you can launch none of them, you can launch some from one ship and some from another ship. That's going to be a little bit hard for a lot of people to understand, because or segue into, because with the old fleet system, I mean, basically you had the ammunition tracking. I mean, like a Vincennes could, had like 8 missile boxes, and as long as, each turn you attacked, you just marked off 1 box, unless you did, doubling fire or tripling fire. But so it's kind of, it's similarly, my English is failing me, represented in this game by your harpoon missiles or your surface to surface missiles. And in the fleet series, you couldn't blow all your missiles at once. This game, yeah, if you're not careful, and David and Keith ran into that when they first played it, because as soon as they got in range of each other, they just dumped everything. Which you can do. And in the first scenario that we played, which was 2 little task force going against each other, I mean, it's all right, who can survive the hits? But then when you start adding in aircraft, which can go back to base and rearm, so they are very deadly, and the submarines that can get in and do torpedo strikes, there's no ammunition. I think there's no ammunition loads for the torpedoes, but yeah, it when all 3 systems, air, surface, sub, all start combining together, it really works really well. Time scale, I think Steve was thinking 4, 6, 8 hours. Yeah, roughly 6 to 8 hours. Yeah, there you go. So hopefully I haven't completely confused everybody. There are Norwegian. Yeah, there was a question at one point. Someone was asking if there were Norwegian units in the game. There will be Norwegian units in the game. Yeah, I love the Alpha Strike. Yep, blow everything. Honestly, yeah, that was one of the biggest things. It's like, all right, do I unload everything and hope I can overwhelm him, or do I launch half and save some for follow-up strikes or other targets? This is the first scenario we did. Again, 2 little task force, like maybe 6 ships on each side. And just going out and shooting at each, just to make sure that the movement and the combat system works. It does use a card draw system like World at War 85. However, there's only 1 formation card per, I don't want to call it formation, per type of unit. So you've got air units, you've got sub units, you've got specific cards for task forces, you've got independent ships out there. So people were concerned, is like, well, I hope that the Soviets get 2 activation cards. Well, everybody gets 1 activation card, and there's no in-turn cards. The turn does not end until everybody is activated. So it's not going to be like World at War, where you're going to have formations that didn't activate in the turn. It physically is impossible. The turn only ends when every formation is activated. And yes, we were using cubes for detection and a whole bunch of different other things. End activation. It just made it a little bit easier, because as you can tell, the hexes were a little bit small and these counters were really, really big. So we wanted to try to keep as many counters off the board as possible. Now, the final print, we got the wrong map size printed out to us. The actual map size is about 20% bigger. So they will be, the World at War size counters, and they will fit into the hexes just fine. See if you can bring up a task force chart.
You want to talk a little bit what the cubes are about?
I just did.
Oh, I missed you. So I was following up there. There's a lot of pictures. This is just.
Oh, yeah. And so you've got airfields, and again, like I said, this is pre-production type copy, playtest copy. So you can see where the the counter would be cut out at. But the airfields, the aircraft are assigned to the airfields. They go out for mission. They use their munitions. They'll go into the plane rearming box. Combat between aircraft, kind of unique. You're not going to be able to destroy an enemy unit's air squadrons. It's assumed that, well, there's just more aircraft that they can pull in from other places in reserve aircraft and stuff like that. And if a unit is quote unquote destroyed in the air or loses the air combat, it goes to a third box where it takes longer for it to rearm, and you need to make a command roll to shift it to plane rearming, then from rearming to ready. So at the minimum, your planes are going to be striking every other turn. So the air-to-surface missiles can be shot down by enemy AA missiles. Yes, there are. Each unit has a surface-to-air missile defense value, depending on what type of ship it is. So like for the Perry-class frigates, I mean, the Mark 13 is going to have SM-1s, SM-2s, MR-1s, MR-2s, and it's going to have the set value of what your air defense is, be it, 1 dice at 3, 1 dice at 2, whatever, what have you. But that will work. The air defense missiles will work similar to how low ammunition or low missiles work in World at War 85. If you use those, then you got to roll against a command rating to see if you're using up all of your missiles. So you don't have anything to track your surface-to-air missiles other than just, a basic roll is like, all right, low ammo, okay, reloading, or completely out of ammo, something like that. So yes, air-to-surface missiles can be shot down by enemy anti-aircraft missiles.
Okay, well, here's some more pictures. Someone's asking about how does sub-combat work?
Sub-combat is very unique. As it stands when we were playtesting it, it helps if you bring up a task force sheet. Can you bring up a task force sheet for me, David? Each task force...
just so you know, there's Steve on the right, and I'm not sure one of the guys who are playtesting the game and giving Steve some feedback. I guess that's not big enough for you, huh? Okay.
I know I did send a couple along. Okay, so there's a task force, and you see it's broken down into 2 different task forces. You got Task Force 1, Task Force 2. Now, you've got 5 boxes there. You've got a port side, you've got a starboard side, and you've got the capital ships in the middle, the important ships in the middle. So basically, the middle column right there is where your most important ships are going to be. Then you've got a port air defense, port anti-submarine defense box, a starboard air defense, and a starboard anti-submarine box. So what submarines do is they decide when they get close to a task force that they want to attack, they decide if they want to approach from the port side or the starboard side, and they basically have to work their way through if they want to attack the center ship. So they will have the surface ships will have to make a detection roll to see if they spot the sub. If the sub isn't spotted, then that sub can decide to strike at the ships that are in the ASW box, or he can choose to move into the next layer, which is the air-to-air box. He moves into, or the air defense box. He moves into the air defense box. Then he's got to be, he rolls to be detected again. If he doesn't get detected, he can try to strike any of the ships that are in the surface-to-air, or the air-to-surface defense, or he can try to sneak into the middle where the capital ships are at. If he moves in there, again, has to make a detection roll. If he's not detected, well, then he can unleash the torpedoes. Now, there are a couple things that Steve needs to work out. After the strike is over, we were originally playing that the sub had to try to sneak back out, but he's been detected by this point, so it's harder for him to get out. Or the sub can just go deep and just, all right, I'm deep, you can't touch me. So we're still working on the rules for that. Now, if you notice, we've got a lot of missile counters above each ship. And if you notice, we've got 8 numbers on them at kind of the 8 directional points. That's the number of missiles that ship has. And so we've got this little token. So we've got the Kirov here in the middle. It gets kind of at the bottom. And it has 10 F700s. You can't really see it, but there are 2 counters there. Yeah, so you see 10 P700s in the upper right-hand corner. That's how many surface missiles it has. So since each counter only goes up to 8, there is actually another counter underneath there that's pointed with the 8 up. And so whenever you want to do a strike, it's how many of those missiles do you want to fire? So the Dostronov, and I know I butchered that, has 2 RU-85s, and you can see the RU-85 counter right above it with the 2 pointed up, letting you know that's how many surface-to-surface missiles he has left. And that's kind of one of the things that I found really challenging about the game, is deciding, all right, how much am I going to unload? Because you got to remember, you only need to get one hit on a ship to knock it out. So, yes, and basically, and like Mo was saying, the linear formation is covering what would be a circular formation. And there we have some Swedish units, Swedish submarines, a couple surface units, aircraft. There's an American task force. Now, if you'll notice, the American task force down in the lower right-hand corner has the word Delta on it. It basically means they've got their radar lit up and they're trying to find you. So it's a little bit easier to detect them. There is a way you can go radar silent, which is you flip it over. It's the alpha. There are some penalties to that. Steve is still working through that. So. But yeah, that's kind of the biggest. I think I kind of covered most of the basics of it. Steve, if you're still out there and have anything, okay, well, there you go. Upper left is anti-air, lower right is ASW. I will have a hard time remembering that because I can't remember what they are in the Fleet Series games. Lower left is close-in defenses. There you go. So that is the basics on how the North Atlantic game is going to run.
And we're going to have Steve on the show. And we just, like I said, we didn't want this to be 8 hours long. We're already into almost 2 hours.
Yep.
Here's some more screens of the game in play.
Ops complete markers, and again, the cubes for detected, and you can be moved, but you can still shoot, so that you'll see you have the X with the MOVE around it. So yeah, there's a lot of different states that a unit can be in. It can move, but hasn't fired yet, and can still be fired. So.
Oh, I wasn't supposed to show that. Sorry. No.
Well, thank you, Steve. I appreciate that. Well, no, it's just that you did so good of a job explaining it that I was able to retain it, and that that's saying something to
Half the battle right there, buddy.
There you go. There you go. I think that's Keith's hand in there moving stuff around. Keith was playing the NATO forces. I was playing the Pact forces in that scenario. And that would have different victory conditions. I had 2 task force. One of the task forces needed to go and just bomb this island. I needed to have this cruiser bomb this island. And the other one is I was escorting an infantry transport so they could offload and do a land invasion. But Keith decided to focus heavily on my cruiser that was going out to the island, and knocked the cruiser out in the first volley, basically. But fortunately, blew most of his missiles from his task force. So I said, all right, I'll just move this task force to support the naval invasion going down there. And I had a couple submarines out there trying to screen. And if I remember correctly, in that one, the Swedish diesel boat managed to sneak into the middle of the convoy twice, but missed both of his shots trying to go after the amphibious assault shit. So yeah, it was a really good scenario. And there's more. That's more the NATO task force chart. As you can see, you've got the I can't even read it, but the green ship in the middle is the capital ship, and then the port and starboard air defense. Oh yeah, the FFG car. 2 harpoons. You can see it's got the little 2 pointing to the north. We're thinking maybe making the counters for the missiles circular. That's something we're still working on. Oh, and if you also notice with the harpoon, it's got a pop-up attack, which makes it a little bit harder for it to be shot down. I think it increases the difficulty of the defender's dice rolls in defense by 1. But yeah, so that's the center ship, and then you got the port and starboard air-to-air and anti-submarine screens. So yeah, I'm really excited about this one.
All right, guys. Do you have anything else for us? Anything else you want us to talk about? Show you? Oh, hold on. Someone is asking.
Yep, harpoons. You mean for Falklands module for the naval system? I don't see why we couldn't do that. You're gonna have to talk to Steve about that. I know I want him to work on 7th Fleet after he gets this one done, because 7th Fleet is where I spent all my time floating around the ocean, and would love to see that. Hint, hint. So, but that one you're gonna have to talk to Steve about. And Rastaman sounds like each task force will have to have its own task force chart. Yeah, you're right. And we're gonna depending on how big the scenarios get. I mean, if the biggest scenario has 6 task forces, then we're gonna give you enough charts to be able to put the 6 task forces out.
Someone asked on another point, we don't have the sonar buoy system that goes down from.
Yeah, the GUIC. Mark just didn't have the time to put it in before, and we will be putting the GUIC sonar line in. So,
Okay.
But for a playtest map, we weren't really that worried about it.
Oh, someone was asking me they lost their rulebook to Nuclear Winter 68. It is now up on the online library.
Digital library.
And let me see. All right, and there's a link to the digital library, guys. And oh, you know what? I can kind of show that, can't I? Okay, so let me just show you guys what it's a little bit about there. Okay, this is just the page for it, okay? And it shows you the last updated or uploaded book. Okay, as you can see, you can scroll down it, but I'm going to pick one. Let's see. We'll pick so that's not too massive. Okay, here's the core rules for World at War 85. You click on it. You get a little sound effect that plays there. We did provide. Okay, it does. We did provide a Devon, should I say, made a little video to show you guys how to use it. It's really pretty straightforward.
Yep.
Home button, you can zoom in, zoom out. So you can click on this, use the arrow buttons to get to where you're going.
And again, it's fully Shift F search compatible.
Yeah, so let me just okay, there's some rules there for you, right? You can decide what page you want to be on. Okay, just by typing it up here. So this will show you thumbnails. Okay, go a little faster. Table of contents, which is pretty self-explanatory. So if you know where you want to go, I want to go to formation cards. You just click on that, it takes you to the section. Okay, you can bookmark something. If you can't remember the numbers and the counters, you can bookmark that particular page in the book, and that was pretty much that where you're going to go. This will show you videos, but obviously I don't have any on here. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Okay. Sound. The video gallery. Here's the videos. I hit the wrong button. I guess that isn't for videos. And I now have it turning the page automatically because I hit the wrong button. I like that.
So yeah, there's a lot of features in the digital library. We tried to make it as easy as possible for people to get the rules and find where in the rules what they need.
So that was not videos auto flip. These are the videos, and then you can literally click on that, and the video will start there. Okay, and it's right off of YouTube anyway, just so you know.
In this video, we're going to start talking about the formation deck, which when you...
Okay, so that gives you a little idea there of the images. If I could slideshow, you can just wanted to see some of the things about the game, counters and stuff. You can just click through that. And again, this is all free. You can share it with your buddy. Okay, if your buddy doesn't know how to find it, you can't remember it, you can print it out on your printer there, print out a page, print out 5 pages, whatever the case may be, and you can download it. Okay, and I believe this takes it to full screen, which I'm not going to do because I don't want to get stuck in that mode. I don't know what the hell could happen, right? There you go. Oh, what happened, see? Okay, so let me just...
Deactivating.
But you can see all the modular rules are here too, as well as the core rules. Is everything on here? Absolutely not. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm working on it. Okay. Space Average is here. Command Ops is here. And these are the last 2 we just put down there. Nuclear Winter Heart of Darkness and Nuclear Winter 68, the actual core rules. All right, I think that's everything I have, unless you guys, unless you have something else that I'm not aware of there.
I think we covered everything that we showed off at Protocon.
Okay, guys. Well, again, sorry for being so long in between episodes, but it'll be a lot sooner because then we have a lot more to go through. Expect to see the Kickstarter for Point Blank this week, God willing. Okay, and let everyone know when you do get to see it. And unless you have anything else exciting,
I've got nothing. It's all on the customers now. They got the questions. Because there's always going to be a last minute question. There always is.
I have to hit that button really fast. All right, then we'll say goodbye until next time, guys, and we'll sign off.
Well, that is all you have for this episode. Keep gaming, and may God bless you and keep you until next time. On the air is a Lock and Load Publishing production.